Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some more Gundam 00. But we got a couple of people with comments today, so let's see what they got to say as we go into the last episode. High Priest says, in response to Entangled Earrings, Ian's daughter is Millennia, the pigtailed Genki girl on the bridge. Anu was scouted by Ian as a new crew member and just so mysteriously happened to look like the Innovator Revive with longer hair. And she's always paranoid about the A-Laws knowing exactly where they are, and she had glowing eyes in this episode. I wonder, a winky face.
Yeah, no, I think I specifically said in the Discord that I had a number of the girls on the bridge mixed up.
Mhm.
Like one of them, I couldn't say right now because I don't have my stuff in front of me. But
Yeah.
one of them is the one that I thought was Ian's daughter is not Ian's daughter. Obviously, this says it's Melania, but I think even when I was correcting myself, I thought it was Felt. So
Yeah. Meanwhile, for Anu, like, we just instantly pegged Anu from, like, the beginning. Is like, yep, that's an infiltrator.
well, I mean, obviously, all the innovators have one
Mhm.
type of name and convention.
Of course. Ah, gosh, the naming convention just give it away too. How does no one notice that? It doesn't matter, but it's still funny. High Priest also says, in response to the shadows of the Innovator, Ribbon's double is Healing Care, the one who wasn't captured this episode. Oh, so we did see Healing fight before then.
Yeah, that's why I said healing was Ribbon's double.
I, I think I just kind of blanked out on it before, but well, they're probably dead now. We think maybe. We're gonna find out for sure this
Well,
episode.
I mean, you looked it up and you said they're dead, so despite the fact neither of us remembers or saw them die, apparently they're dead.
I'm gonna say I didn't actually see the word dead, but I saw enough things that said like explode or otherwise. I'm like, has to be.
Oh, so you looked it up and a bad researcher's note. You just made something up.
My hey, I put it in my notations. I saw it in a dream, alright?
Lean this back to previous comments I've made about you being a bad scientist, where you just make up numbers and now you're making up conclusions.
Hey, look, if I gotta just scan something rapidly, I'm gonna be wrong.
Look, at least Dr. Insano made stuff. All you've got are the glasses and bad notes.
Aren't bad notes what makes a mad scientist?
No,
Very well, continuing. Long K Long says in response to Shadows of the Innovators.
you've
Innovates,
read it wrong
don't
both times now.
yeah.
You said
Uh
High Priest in response to Shadow of the Innovator, which is plural, and now you've made multiple shadows of the Innovators.
we're gonna have a lot of shadows here. But Innovates don't really have a twin exactly. They are just the same type of Innovate using the same DNA template for their body. Um, that's fine. I think we just kind of assumed because that's the theme that they went with and that they aren't actually. Yeah, that's fine. They're just similar enough. So
Griff,
they still fit the same thing.
Griff, I am both assume nothing
Uh-huh.
and I have assumed everything. So,
Ah, yes, inhabiting both worlds at the same time. I see, I
well,
see.
look, I tried not to comment except on stuff that's being presented to me in the show, but at the same time, the show just does so much wacky shit, right? It doesn't make any sense, despite the number of people that will jump in the comments to explain how much it makes sense.
Mhm.
That I'm just in both worlds.
Additionally, Phil Fisher says in response to Entangled Yearnings, something I find interesting. The former A-Laws, Arrows, member now pilots the GN Archer.
Best spy in the business.
Yeah. Fun little times, just like constantly swapping out mechs. I think that's actually something I like about Gundam when like we have characters who like swap out machines. That's
Yeah,
still my favorite thing.
nothing I love more than to look up a character and see which mechs they pilot, and it's a list 17 long. And all the names are just, like the GNX 705 dash name thing here. And it's like, okay, this is. I'm not gonna remember any of this.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
So
have so many long notepads of notes in when it comes to Universal Century. And then, you know, look, if you're watching us still after at least the last 3 or 4 episodes where clearly you've hated me, just know that when we reach Universal Century and we start it, I'm gonna do my damnedest to pay attention, to be serious, and to fucking know what's going on and who the characters are, right?
mhm.
So, I mean, I know enough about like Amuro Ray and Char and everything like that to know that they're not emotionless sacks of shit like Setsuna is. So I apologize if Gundam 00 is your favorite show. I think I made it very clear a long time ago. Not my favorite. I enjoy the show. I would put it above other shows that we've watched. Right?
Mhm.
Clearly, leagues above Tomodachi Game, for example. That's
Watch this before Yuri Deco, everyone.
if Gundam 00 was a skyscraper, Yuri Deco would still be below the street, right? So I'm saying it's a good show. I would recommend people watch it despite the opinions I seem to be giving. But at the same time, it is on the lower spectrum of Gundam shows that I've watched, which is where my disagreement lies with most opinions. I think Witch from Mercury, top. Most people disagree. Iron Blooded Orphans, below. I mean, I put the Iron Blooded Orphans above this show, and I didn't particularly have a lot of good things to say about Iron Blooded Orphans.
I think I would put Double O above IBO here for sure. I don't know where I rank everything overall because, I like to avoid ranking as much as
You know,
possible.
I know why you're doing that, Griff.
Why is that?
Because I was right at the end of that show, and you were proven wrong. You had nothing
Yes,
but
that's the only reason I don't like it.
you had
Sure, okay.
yeah, well, yeah. I'm gonna say this, Griff, because you had nothing but good things to say all throughout the show, except for the last episode where you were proven wrong, and then ranked a bunch of shit real low. Whereas I had a bunch of negative stuff to say, except for at the very end when the show redeemed itself.
So I guess it's always worth saying if the reason why we're critical is because we like the stuff we're watching.
Yeah.
But speaking of watching stuff, last time was the episode Beyond. Note, in Japanese it was also Beyond, but in all capital letters.
Okay. Does
I don't
that
know, I just thought
change?
it funny.
Does that change something?
No, just all the other ones are like actual Japanese titles, and this one is just Beyond in English lettering, full caps.
Sure, to add a plus ultra to the end of that.
Yeah, there you go. The last episode, the battle between the Double Eraser and the Regent, come to the conclusion when Gaga attacks them both. Surviving the attack, Setsuna has Saji take Luis to safety before Hilling and Revive attack the Double Eraser. Meanwhile, inside Veta's core, Tiara corners Ribbons and reveals that he knows the truth behind their existence, and before Ribbons kills him. Elsewhere, Louise finds herself in the company of Saji and attacks him only to suffer a nervous breakdown upon finding out that he kept his ring. As the battle escalates with Hilling and revives, Setsuna resorts to the Double O Razor's Transam system, which triggers his abilities as a pure innovator, and he intercepts the thoughts of his friends, comrades, and enemies. Frustrated with the grim nature of the situation, Setsuna unconsciously activates the Double O Razor's Transam's burst system and blankets the battlefield in pure GN particles, driving Hilling and Revive off while causing a momentary ceasefire among everyone. Seizing the moment, Setsuna infiltrates the colony and is close in on Veta's position. Meanwhile, Tiara links minds with Veta, severing Ribbon's own connection and activating the Seraphim Gundam's trial system to shut down all the Innovator's units. With Veta secured, the forces of Celestial Being wrap up their battles, including Lyle as he kills Ali to avenge his family and gains a new conviction. Setsuna locates Veta's core and finds Tiara dead, but no sign of Ribbons. But he can pursue Ribbons. Tiara reveals his presence inside Veta to Setsuna and explains the entirety of Aeola Scheinberg's plan to him. Setsuna departs for the Talavos, but when Ribbons shoots down the Seraphim in his Reborn's Gundam, he prepares to do battle one final time in the Double O Razor.
So,
Man, last episode bounced around a lot.
oh yeah, it did. So, uh, after we're done the movie, we're planning to do one of those things we always do with every series that we've spent a lot of time on and really liked.
Uh-huh.
Which is says a negative to Overlord because we didn't do it there, but um, the character ranking and the episode ranking. But not to spoil that, since we have 2 more weeks of content to go through before we do any of that.
Hmm.
Who would you say your favorite character is in the show right now?
My favorite character right now among everyone, I think I have to go ahead and give it to Soma. Soma slash Mary. I think she's the one that I've been paying the most attention to and was most invested into her story and the little family around her and the Colonel. I think that drew a lot of my own personal
Yeah, I hope that
attention.
guy fucking dies.
This is of course excluding like Setsuna and a couple other main characters because of course you choose the main character. They're the best character in
How
most
can
series.
you? I don't know how you could choose Setsuna as your favorite character in this show. I need somebody with a personality who actively does stuff and isn't just pushed into the position of doing things.
Right, which is again why I like Soma slash Mary. She's got a lot of personality going on, two of them even, and a lot of emotion
Well,
and a
sort of
lot of drama.
maybe a third if you consider the mixed personality when they're both doing a thing.
And the series seems fine to have two separate ones. It's fine, whatever.
I know Saji has been my thing the whole time,
Hmm.
but I think he's like losing steps for me along the way. When
Saji's arc is over,
well,
basically.
his arc has become very one note, right? He's not like he was very dynamic at the end of season 1, where it's like I'm just like your boyfriend. I'm trying to win over your mother. Oh no, you lost an arm. I'm gonna figure out a way to make us thing work, even if you don't want it to, and
Hmm.
that sort of thing. And then it was that much more dynamic at the start of season 2, when for some reason he gets arrested for not saying or for saying too much in a locker room and gets
Hmm.
sent off and then has to go through all this shit. But he's very much become like one note Setsuna's backpack and just like listening to like he's very much become that trope of just a character saying another character's name repeatedly. And I think
Hmm.
that's why my favorite character here at the very end or nearing the end has to be Ali. I hate him for killing Saji's sister. Just like, hey, let me give you an interview in a car. Next thing I was here, kicked out of the car, dead on the in an alley, reaching for a picture fell out of her wallet. But he is the very much the most dynamic through the entire show. He goes from leading a group of like rebels to a mercenary organization of rebels, whatever,
Hmm.
a PMC, and then flip flops from organization to organization, getting hired by whoever, to the point he's at the end of the show in like the supreme leader's bunker, shooting somebody for him, and then still wandering out to get into a fight with the brother of another person he killed. It's very or twin rather. Twin is a brother, whatever. Um, he's the most dynamic character. And you might understand that my picks for best character are people with personalities who express them vocally and openly while performing actions that they seem to enjoy. They couldn't replace them with a plank.
Ali is a super fun character, 100%, and he is a great villain just because of how he acts. He's just having so much fun with it the entire time. He's an asshole, and so it's great to see him get killed too. He serves his purpose great. He doesn't change as a person, but he is the right hand man to execute literally everything that is happening. So yeah, he shows up a whole lot. We followed the whole series. He's a good choice. He's just fun. But I would say with Saji, we talked about like the duo main character kind of thesis before. Saji's everything that you wanted out of Setsuna, and that's clearly why you like him.
It would have been amazing. The show would have kicked up a notch. Now you've said that, would have kicked up 10 notches in my head had Setsuna and Saji been the same character, right?
Hmm.
Like maybe we have the tragic backstory thing, but we don't focus on it as our intro. We focus on a happy Saji trying to spend time with Louise, and then we encounter Miria, and then the whole backstory thing starts kicking off, and then we're introduced to the fact that he is a Gundam Meister. Like, we start off with the hidden personality, and then we get shown the real thing when he gets called to action. We actually do a call to action and just don't start in the middle of it. Oh man, combining the two characters, but leaning into Saji's personality and not Setsuna's. Hell, I would have even taken if
Mhm.
he's Setsuna in the cockpit, Saji on the street, right?
We already have enough dual personalities as it is, right? Why not just another?
No,
But
no, no. More like
I
what am I trying to think here? Like if he was like a secret agent sort of thing, right? Saj, no, like a Batman sort of thing, right? Saji is who he is to everybody that knows him.
yeah.
Setsuna is who he really is in the cockpit. That way, even if he's faking it in the streets, Saji still has personality. And it's like the whole Bruce Wayne is a playboy thing, but Batman is the cold figure in the night.
There's like a Batman Beyond episode where just like, how'd you know you aren't crazy? It's like, well, the voice in my head kept calling me Bruce. That's not what I called myself.
But my point being is that the two characters combined as one would have made this show so much better. It would have You would have had to have changed a lot of the writing, but I think that would have been a better show.
hmm I think what makes Saji a fun character can't happen if he is a celestial being member from the beginning. And we don't get his entire build up unless stuff is happening to him as a spectator first.
I I have to disagree because we get so many scenes of Setsuna wandering around.
hmm
Remember, like the time where he's like wearing his native clothing, and he encounters Graham just wandering around out in a village in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And the times that he meets Maria when he's not as his Gundam pilot self, or the times he's living next to Saji, or the times he has to go get Sumeragi out from. He has plenty of man on the street moments that you could have made those. Hey, I'm Saji moments, and I'm hiding all this shit from you, and then still bring him back to the Gundam Meister moments.
I do have like two more thoughts, and that I think is the splitting of the protagonists of the multiple characters is interesting and is definitely a good way to like expand and have more dynamics and not like focus on like one character. Q, I guess the Star Wars sequels, the ones nobody likes, that was still a good decision to like turn what is one character to basically three between Poe, Finn, and Rey because they were each together Luke Skywalker. That's what the idea is, right? But I think if you wanted to combine Saji and Setsuna here, you get the protagonist from Seed. I
Like
think that's what you would end up with.
you can't say anymore, Griff, because we haven't watched Seed on here. And
I can't say anymore, but that's the impression that I think I have right now. So you could say like maybe this is Seed split into two. I don't know.
so only you and the
That's the
audience get
vibes
that.
I have.
Also, I
Yeah,
think Seed came after this, right? So
I don't know.
if it did, that means that they saw this. The people who made this saw this and thought, God, that character needed more. We should have combined him with Saji. If it came
It,
before this, they clearly thought, man, that character had too much going on. We need to split him up.
I'm pretty sure it came before. One second, I can actually clarify that real quick. Yeah, Seed was 2002 to 2003. We're watching in 2009 here.
Okay. So it is the thing. They saw Seed and said, that character needs to be split up. But my problem is, I find all too often that Setsuna is a one-note character, and I
Mhm,
feel like he needed more notes. That you could have combined him with a couple. Maybe even you could have shrunk down the Gundam
mhm,
Meister team and put a couple of them into. Like, you have
mhm.
two people with. You have one person who is a twin of another guy. You have one person who has multiple personalities. Fuck, just make those guys one character.
To
I'm the
kind of like
twin with a
wrap that
personality
in,
of my brother.
actually, to last episode and this episode, we have a lot of characters in the show, right? Season one was stuffed full of characters, and we killed off half of those and then ignored the others. And here at the finale, episode 24, the one we just watched, they just went ahead and resolved everyone else, and now we just have center stage, ribbons, Setsuna, and that's what we got. That's what we're looking at.
I mean, they haven't really resolved a bunch of stuff.
They simplified the entire conflict. Because last
They
episode
shut
was a mess
everything
of jumping
down.
around, right?
They shut everybody down and forced them to talk to one another. Of that, I don't recall getting a lot of definitive, you're right, we solved our problems. We got a lot of, why couldn't you just understand your father? And he was like, he never talked to me. He just never fucking talked. And that was where it ended. Right? Nobody
they're out
solved.
at the moment. This is the point. They don't need more story time for this finale.
They didn't resolve their problems, is what I'm getting at. Nothing got resolved. We just shut every. This is a continuation of the problems that I had 2 to 3 episodes ago, where we just killed all the backup in 2 giant weapon explosions. So we don't have to look at them anymore. Well, we've turned off all the Gundams. They can talk to each other how much they want. Not going to be on screen, I guess. So it's more of that.
We're going to come back and like they're all going to be hugging it out. It's fun. It's fine.
More of that with none of the resolution.
So I guess we are still getting a resolution now, whatever it's going to be, and
well, not really, because we know there's a movie. So clearly,
just because there's a movie doesn't mean they don't resolve stuff in the series. Come on, there's got to be something.
I believe Wing proved that that's not true. Wing seemed to have resolved everything in the series, and the movie comes along, and it turns out a bunch of stuff actually was not resolved.
I'm thinking again about Wing in like modern times. I'm just like, oh yeah, no, this could be analogous, huh?
We're just gonna throw all of our mobile suits into the sun. It'll be fine. That's how we'll resolve everything. Starts the movie. We haven't thrown our mobile suits into the sun yet.
So, I guess let's load up our sun rocket and let's watch and find out. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all just worth the challenge, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below, join the Discord. I'll tell you what, if enough of you join and actively hate things that I've said on the channel, I'll make a channel specifically for you to hate me in.
感謝してほしいな。君がその力を手に入れたのは僕のおかげなんだよ。刹那 F 精鋭。
Why do you keep calling me by my full name?
I'm still slightly disappointed the final fight isn't Setsuna versus Ali, Ali representing the violence of mankind. Well, we got him.
そうしなければ人類は戦いをやめられず滅びてしまう。
I guess I'm slightly disappointed that he's basically pulling the same thing from the last episode of Season 1. The UN guy basically had the same motif about him. I am a god, I will lead them all, this is my stage.
Yeah, that's right. Take out hierarchical systems.
I'll create a Rebirth. What are we doing? Why are we just saying? Why are we just saying our own names? Plus our own special moves.
ベータから？はい。バックアップから外れている新型機がダブルオーライザーと交戦していると。新型機ですって。
トレミーを出すぞ。
アヤンさん、無事だったのね。
なんとかね。
Yeah, wasn't he shot last time?
Look, a lot of people got shot last time. Let's not harp on who did not get shot.
No, I think he was just like exhausted dealing with the Gundam. That's all.
アレルヤ、出られる？
行きます。トレミーより通信。トレミーより通信。
あいよ。
刹那。
Just hear his body, dead body, just floating around in Veda. It's not, not the first dead body floating around in Veda, so I guess that makes sense.
I mean, they didn't have time to take it anywhere. It's fine. They'll come back later, right?
Confused. Did your head just turn into a rocket? Oh, you made another head. That was the
Transform into
least.
melee mode.
That was the least energetic "It's a Gundam" I've ever heard.
そうともこの機体こそ人類を導く
There we go. We've clarified our villain has also leveled up enough.
Hey, I remember when Setsuna did that to another. That's Setsuna Suletta's thing in season 1. Remember?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Melting feet's a big point in Gundam, apparently.
Of course, they're in space, so it's not like they need them.
In fact, they have no need to be humanoid at all. Oh, look! Like I
they're fine,
said,
actually.
余計なことを
ベーダのバックアップがなくたって人間なんかに
well, not technically anymore. I mean, you're not even in Trans Am yet. That
Yeah,
drummer,
there we go. The backup we already
that
played.
drummer loved his beat. Now, how many of these guys last episode lost all their GN particles and now suddenly have them again?
I guess they all had time to refuel.
You saw which way the bullets came from. Why are you confused?
イノベーターもその程度かよ
He had shot from the top, looks left and right. Another trope I'm somewhat maybe miffed about is the
Yeah.
one where the character is moving so fast that the cameraman can't figure out where they went.
Yeah, just like unreliable tracking. It's just supposed to demonstrate speed. I get it. But Alleluia has a fun point. Like the main cast has been dealing with stuff without beta for like an entire season now, and then these people have it literally pulled out from under them and have no idea what to do.
Yeah, great. Pulled out the ship that's known to not be able to avoid shots.
エンジン面に直撃航行がスモークを発射して
けどよセツだも
撃つのよ
Who's the strategist among us? Do what I say.
目くらましなど
今の刹那なら
Yeah, pull out the physical sword that goes through Gundam's.
I like it. I shut out their engines, they can't move. Deploy the smoke. Suddenly this guy's firing wildly, trying to figure out where they are. Just aim where you were before.
叩く の力純粋種の力か
But you called yourself a general invader.
ハローガンダムは
A literal second or a figurative second?
I think literally.
Trans Am in suicide mode? Nope. Isn't your face exposed to space right now?
Depends if the cockpit's actually breached. There we go, we've lost 2 lock-ons now.
イアン、聞こえる？
どうした？
R2 の射出準備をお願い。
おいおい、予備のドライブは？
やるのよ。
Sacrifice everyone for the finale.
君のその力オリジナルの GN ドライブの恩恵があればこそだ返してもらうぞ誰がそうさそうでなければ僕が作られた意義がない存在する意味も違うティエリアーデ
I was gonna say that argument was boiling down to give it to me. No. Yes.
It's my toy.
Great, now to fight a Gundam and a naked person. A
You can
naked
fight a giant
ghost.
robot. You fight a ghost.
そうやって人を見下し続けるから分かり合えないその気はないよ
That's like a Theta line right there. It's like, oh, I can't be asked bothered to understand people.
Shouldn't have to.
Then again, you're not going for global domination or anything.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Forgot I could teleport, huh?
It is very funny seeing a headless Gundam.
I just think it also shows the evolution of Gund bits when it comes to Witch from Mercury. The Witch from Mercury, they're like super important. But in this show, they just fucking get destroyed anytime they show up.
They're just ammo, essentially.
これさえあれば僕はより
Oh, he lived.
体現者に
Yeah.
いやそれ
Would you not understand what was just happening?
I thought he got cut in half.
No, he got chopped into, and in the other one, he spun around and chopped Setsuda's in half or something like that. Or at least the head off of it.
これは運命だまだ僕は戦える
Hey, it's that flower motif DK was telling us about.
All we need now is for the glass to shatter, and then it dies in space.
GN ドライブマッチングクリアいけるどこだどこにいる刹那 F 星へそこか
I don't know what good it is to have a visual monitor that shows up here on your cheek.
まさか
So they both had the same idea.
Well, no, more like Setsuna was floating in space and somebody flew to him with another suit. Somebody else had Setsuna's idea for him.
この人間風情が
Here we go. All the cool tech stuff is gone. Now we're just back to right where we started.
あなたが読むことがなくてもそれでもあなたへの思いを 綴らせてください。クルジスの少年兵として戦いを強要され、
I don't think there's
Oh,
enough
nice
happening
throw.
in this scene. Why don't we add somebody reading a letter?
平和を求める気持ちは私もあなたも同じなのに、分かり合っているのに、どうして私とあなたの道は交わらないのでしょうか。
Oh, the kids are singing again.
あなたは武力を行使して世界から争いをなくそうとしている。
The thing that really gets me
もし
is that the one that Ribbons is piloting just really reminds me of the original Gundam for some
どこ
reason.
にあるのでしょう。
Not from this
They
show,
were
but from
kind of
Gundam
modeled off
itself.
of them.
Now, take a look at the one that Ribbons is piloting,
罪を背負い
and look at a picture of the original RX, the original Gundam.
それでも戦い続ける。そんなあなたの生き方がどうしようもなく悲しく思えるのです。
And they both explode a second time.
他者と共有
Explosions
し
don't kill people, Griff. Don't be stupid.
その輪を広げていくことが
Oh no, it's
平和
happening.
につながると私は考えています。
Balls to Earth terminal velocity kills millions of people.
どうかあなたもあなたの幸せを掴んでください。
Oh, that's how we ended season 1.
あなたに幸せが訪れることを私は祈っています。
マリナ様、お時間でございます。
わかりました。さあ、みんな。
Oh, we're back to ruling places now. Okay. I thought you gave all that up.
We killed the Illuminati, remember?
我がアザディスタンは地球連邦政府の支援を受け、
Because apparently,
Okay, okay.
the moment you decapitate the leader, the government turns good
私
or
はこの
bad.
支援を中東のすべての国々に広げるために努力していこうと思います。
Peace in the Middle East. This truly is a fantasy.
刹那、私はこの小さな平和を広げていくわ。物語が語り継がれ
It's okay. We beat up all the Americans to make it happen.
人の心に染み入るように。
Yeah, like I said, we had one fight, and apparently the Earth Federation government is okay helping good people be good
ウイルス
again.
の体を蝕んでいた細胞異常はその進行を完全に止めた。
Because I cried on her. That's how we cure things in the
刹那
future.
の放ったあの光のおかげなのだろうか。真実がその理由は分からなくても
At least. In Witch from Mercury, we had fucking Gund tech.
ここにいる。
Here we just regenerate stuff.
Yeah, through the power of. Was it something Jesus Christ did? It's literally just being fucking hand waved in the background.
Catharon is taken over. That's why they're all good now.
Oh, see that, Griff? We're no longer keeping secrets. We're outlawing secrets. Wait, who's that?
I think that was Graham's master?
Or was it Graham? Did Graham commit seppuku?
Oh my gosh, I think so.
これで世界は変わるのね。
Because I said so.
だがまだ始まったばかりだ。互いが理解し合い
Literally, we had a fight scene, and now everybody in the government turned good.
だが我々は
So fucking dumb.
生まれくる
This is like your level of idealism.
そうね、クラウス。私たちから変わって
Man, if I challenge Trump to a gun battle, maybe everybody will turn good.
真の地球連邦樹立。そのために私たちは新たな3つの
ねえ
計画を
サジ
設定し推進していきます。
世界はこれからどうなるのかな。
一つ目はエネルギーに関して
正直僕にもわからない。
太陽光送電クルモの拡大を促進し、
でも
今後10年の間
僕たちは無自覚ではいられないと思う。
送電システムを確立させます。
平和の中にいた僕らは
I don't know, but the government's taking over the media. Literally, her face is on every screen everywhere in the universe.
Quick note that institutions are hard to
本
displace.
当に平和を求めるなら 世界について考えることが。
And here we are, where we should have been at the end of season 1.
司令部はスレスタルビーイングの処遇をなんと。
奴らは腐敗したアローズを叩いた功労者で
Fuck you if you are who I think you are.
武力放棄をしない限り現政権を脅かす危険な
We spent 5 minutes talking. Spent 5 minutes talking, solved all our problems. Mannequin. He's alive! I told you he'd be alive.
Yeah!
それに私は昇進して準将だ
You can't kill the immortal Patrick Kalasar.
Ah, he gets such an adorable simp.
分かっている
So did you turn into a princess or are you getting married?
They're getting married.
I take it back. My favorite character is this guy.
This random dude who just manages to find happiness. That's it.
He's not only a good guy, he had like an amazing story throughout. To the point where like he's almost getting killed in the manga too. He just fucking survives everything.
He's just got a good vibe going on.
平和を脅かす者と戦う。父と母が目指した軍人に。
Maybe someday my son will kill me. Nope, that was Graham right there. Didn't commit seppuku.
Ah, so he lived. Just everyone else is dead.
ロックオンストラトスとしてこの世界と向き合うたとえ世界から疎まれようとその罰が下されるまで戦い続けるそっちへ行くのはもう少し先だ
One of these graves is not like the other.
待っててくれよな何
How can you afford that grave, though?
再び変わろうとしている。
I'm sure they got some Carathon money lying around.
僕が犯してきた罪は、人の命を奪ってきた罪は決して。
アレルヤ。
この世界は矛盾に満ちていて、僕自身も矛盾。
I think if anyone's representative of the show, it's him. He represents the show more than Setsuna.
見つけるんだ。僕たちが生きる意味を。
I think that's fair. We spent a whole lot of time with him and his story. He actually had like a whole lot of things that had to be developed and resolved.
But did nobody take over the space station? Colony
Oh
ship
no,
rather?
Tiara's there.
Corpse rotting away because nobody ever picked it up.
さようなら、みんな。世界がどうなるか。 それは誰にもわからない。でも、どうにでもなれると思うんだ。過去は変えられなくても、未来は変え
I
ら
don't
れる。
think enough has changed to make the world a peaceful place for some reason.
もし間違ってしまったら
They're just trying to get in some of that Gundam optimism here.
きっと彼らが立ち上がる。すべての矛盾を抱え込んでも。
We did live.
行こう。俺たちにはまだやることがある。
みんなが命を引き
A
金
street
に
fight
して
has
変えた
opened
世
up
界
near
を
Taco Bell.
見
You
続
have と go
けなくて
fight them.
そうね
I hear this bunch of soccer hooligans.
With a nuclear bomb.
俺たちはソレスタルビーイング。戦争根絶を目指す者。
Gotta hate how they've set themselves up for a sequel no matter what.
俺たちは
Yeah.
世界と対峙し続ける。武力を行使してでも世界の抑止力となって生きる。
We'll be the force to fight other forces.
だからこそ俺たちは存在し続けなければならない。未来のために。
The ending song has grown on me at least. Hear it when the last time to hear it.
Yeah, it feels real classic now. That's...
Did they have the wherewithal to next time a movie?
Yes. We're about to. Somehow, Ribbons returned.
No, remember? What the fuck did I tell you? No, remember the book, the book that I was talking about. The book
yeah.
childhoods end, and this one says the childhood of humanity ends. You're fucking ripping it literally from the book.
Next time we find the space baby around Jupiter in Space Odyssey 2001.
No, you remember really early in season 1, the spaceship that was floating around Jupiter that was
Oh yeah.
partly destroyed and had the evil Haru in it?
Yeah.
And now apparently, I guess they found the aliens there at Jupiter or something, and then that's where all the space tech must have come from. God, I think the ending, except for the human government turns good for no reason, it was pretty good. I liked the wrap up for the characters. I don't so much like, and we will keep on fighting the Starship Troopers ending, right? They'll keep fighting and they'll win. That sort of shit. But I like the individual character wrap ups. I guess I don't understand why Graham's master committed seppuku. That was out of nowhere. And
Yeah,
again,
well,
the government turned good because we killed everybody at the top. That's like, once again, I want to fight I want to have a duel with the president. You know, if I just do that,
I'll do it. I'll duel the president.
if I just duel the president, and I don't know, dueling tanks or something, everyone will turn good in the end.
Look, they're like, any president these days is gonna be like 70, 80 years old. I'm still young. I can quick draw. I can do it, man.
Yeah, and I'll look so cool fighting the president that obviously every other like political figure that's in it just for themselves or the money or status will change their minds and they'll instantly be swayed to the right of helping others.
Exactly. There's no such thing as a faction of people with a set of goals that will survive past this person leading them. That's never happened before.
Or even a faction just completely switches on its own morality. Like the way Democrats used to be, the way Republicans are, and the way Republicans are, the way Democrats used to be.
I think though all the innovates have been taken care of more or less, right? There are no more of them to do anything.
Technically, we saw a room full of them, and then
they turned out to be suicide bombers.
No, remember? Well, I don't know. That was never addressed. I think
that's what they all implied that they were doing.
Well, then we didn't see enough of them then. Because we saw thousands of suicide bombers, and we saw a room full of guys look like ribbons. So
there's no reason we can't Ultron it and say, like, yeah, we literally stored 5 away, and they're just pretending to be normal, and we'll start some shit again.
Well, we don't really know what the movie's about other than aliens, so who's to know?
At least the show itself already telegraphs, like, yeah, we're gonna talk to aliens. That's the next thing we want to do. Stick around, aliens.
I guess the only thing I can do here is to compare it to the other 2 Gundam shows that we've watched, right?
Sure, go ahead.
We got Witch from Mercury, which is, hey, we defeated the bad guys, but things generally are gonna stay the same. Like, nobody has been swayed. We're still running on money here, so we're gonna do a Senate-style investigation on the bad guys we beat, but otherwise, all the other people out there who are doing the same shit, probably gonna keep doing it. Status quo. And then we have IBO, where at the end of the day, our protagonists were really kind of the bad guys. And I think you disagree with me on the whole Rustle situation, that he was really just fighting for the good, because it was McGillis who was trying to radicalize parts of Gallarhorn.
I'll definitely agree it's complicated, but continue.
It was complicated, but I think at the end of the day, the good guy government that comes out of it makes more sense than, hey, we shot your leader in the head, now everyone's turned good. We skipped way too much shit. At the very least, with the Rustle, we had the time skip. We had him stepping down as leadership and propagating the democratic leadership that was, about to say Relita, wrong person. What's her name? What was her name?
From IBO?
Yeah.
It's
the Seder Rebellion or whatever her name is.
Kudelia.
Yeah, elevating Kudelia and her position, and then all the the politicians that were helping them in the background get elevated up, and then Rustle turns and just joins them. It's like nobody's dying and mysterious, good benefactors are appearing. It's just they're all politically motivated to do the right thing with what's left.
It is slightly more clear that there are a set of actors ready to step up and take charge in a new way that is ideologically opposed to the way that got defeated. Yeah. There's a lot more sense to be made over an IBO, I think.
Right, and otherwise here, I know we're just sitting here in the end of it, so it might just not be washing over us correctly, but it very much appears like, hey, we killed all the bad guys who thankfully were all in one spot. So all that was left on Earth were good people.
I definitely agree and sympathize. I think we did end up simplifying things down a lot, which is why we've led to we killed all the bad guys, so it's over, right? But I think the way the political system is actually supposed to go and how it's supposed to get there doesn't necessarily matter for the show. The people writing it don't necessarily know and don't want to put an opinion down. And they say as much at the end, we're just like, I don't know how we're going to get there, but we really, really should try to keep going. They're just trying to be optimistic.
Well,
I can kind of vibe with that because not everyone is as crazy as me over here, where like I have very clear ideas of what needs to happen.
Well, instead of the other shows did, which was spend a little bit more time denoting how the process moving forwards was going to work, I feel like instead on here, we spent more time, hey, we're still going to be fighting those who would fight wars against others, sort of thing. We spent more time denoting how the Gundam, how Celestial Being would still exist to fight against the government that we just hand-waved over.
I guess it is the difference between Season 1 and Season 2's presentation, where Season 1 we had a lot of those background characters, we had a lot of the ancillary stuff happening, we had a lot of the perspectives of random people at different points, and we even literally looked into the rooms of people with power and saw what they were thinking about their own decisions and how happy or sad that they had to make certain decisions. But we don't have any of that in Season 2, because supposedly Ribbon's just steamrolled directly over all of it, and everybody's a puppet.
It's not the Illuminati. We Illuminati'd out the government characters, so they no longer
now we're
exist.
only left with evil entities who just want to do bad things, and that's the only reason bad things happen. But so it got simplified a whole lot. I'm obviously not a big fan of it. I would love like a more direct, hard-hitting message. But it's also a show about giant robots fighting, and it wants to be hopeful about a future where there's not as much fighting.
I feel like if this was like Wing, perhaps, that we would get one of those like Wu Fei in his Gundam falls into the White House, right? Gets out of his Gundam, pulls a sword on the president, and they have a meaningful political discussion with the threat of a sword duel looming.
Wu Fei just stands up and goes, I don't fight cowards, and steps away.
Well, I mean, that's a scene that actually happens in the Wing,
I know. They do with Treize.
Yeah. But, I mean, with Treize is the representative of the leader of the group, right? So it's like... And Treize is still giving speeches to the Romefeller organization, where it represents his political base, his power base. The people ruling the world are constantly still being represented in the show. So it's effectively Wu Fei pulls a sword on the president, and we have a political discussion about how this is about to go down. Whereas in Double O, in the first season that could have happened. In the second season, they no longer exist. And Ribbons isn't shown pulling the strings until the very end. Like, he's like in the control room, obviously, of the colony ship, which we only find out that's where that is later on. But it's only later on it's like, okay, I'm gonna have that blonde fat guy who's commanding all of the military forces send everything here. And it's like, oh, so he is in charge then. Because up till then, it's been Mannequin and the blonde guy and that other guy, that Mannequin, and kept going back and forth at who's in charge. Like, oh, you fucked up, now I'm in charge. Oh, now you fucked up, now I'm in charge.
Yeah, then towards the end, Mannequin is just like, wait a second, some of this isn't right, and then, like, steps down. So what's left is the evil, ambitious people who are like stepping up, and then they get their comeuppance at the end.
But even then, they're only representative of either the A-Laws or the Earth Federation military forces. We never see any of the political people in charge anymore. And even then, it's like Hercule shows up to like stage a coup against, again, a political faction we never see. He's just trying to take over the military. So either the emphasis here is that the military took over and we're in some sort of, what's it called?
Military junta?
Yeah, we're in a military junta,
Or
or
military dictatorship, or whatever you want to call it.
well, the junta was the one that wasn't coming to me, but I was trying to think of. We were either existing in that, where the military just took over, and there is no more politicians, which makes it really weird how quickly the politicians came back and just took over, or something else.
I guess, like, the way it at least looks, right, is that the Earth Federation technically exists with perfectly ordinary people who are doing the exact same thing that they were doing from season 1, except now they are all ostensibly a part of a single federation. So nothing maybe really has changed there for them. It's just that directly on top, at some point, they were manipulated to creating the A-Laws, which are their own faction of highly militarized individuals capable of spending as much money as they want on whatever project, and that's just Ribbons doing his own thing as a conspiracy.
I think pointedly, it can't be that simple because we've seen that people are just getting arrested left and right and sent to work in, slave colonies. So it's not.
But like with the Hercule stuff, like one of the big things was like people don't know about it. Nobody has seen it, and I think we've talked about like maybe that's one of the themes of this show, which is like people not paying attention to the world around them or not giving a shit about politics because it's not happening to them. Which is where Saji was.
It just feels so not right. It feels like the world is living in a global World War II Soviet Union, right? Everybody knows somebody that got sent to the Gulag. We just don't talk about them for fear that we'll get sent to the Gulag. So it seems unlikely to me that there's all these mines, these space mines out there, which are like penal colonies, and people are just randomly getting, not randomly, they're just being accused of crimes that are so out there to be sent to a penal colony for that it's ridiculous that we all don't know, but I think we all know.
I think that's a good real world metaphor to bring in here, where a lot of people will be like, well, they're criminals and they did bad things, so I don't care what happens to them. That could be a thing, but like the story doesn't dwell on that a whole lot. That's not what the show is necessarily about. But it does maybe fit into the broader theme of what they're talking about.
Yeah, we're living in the Spy X Family world without the fun of Spy X Family. That it's all spies, and when they talk about going to Yor's, the place that Yor works, and oh yeah, one of the other secretaries got arrested the other day and just disappeared. That sort of thing.
If I were to boil it all down to like a very simple thesis statement for the show, if I had to like tell it to someone, I would probably say the show is about giving a shit about what's happening around the world. Right? Would you say that's fair?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if this is
go ahead.
I don't know if it's if you were trying to sell it on somebody, I feel like what you're talking about is the underlying background metaphor that you won't see if you watch the show. Because it's happening, and if you don't care so much about the Gundam fights, you're not going to question it. Right, because if you're in for the Gundam fights and the I Am Gundam and the very surface level shit, right? Obviously, I'm very surface level shit, which is why people are going to complain that I didn't get it. It's all about understanding. Yes, DK, I know. It's human instrumentality without the permit score. I get it, but it's about the permit score of everybody turning into a liquid goo that joins together near the surface. But
oh yeah, the orange juice, yeah.
Well, it's more like tomato juice if you look at it. It's red. But point being is that it's very much, hey, let's solve all of our problems with fights, despite the fact that we're an organization that wants to end fighting. It's very much a catch-22 of itself, and it handles none of the politics. It handles none of the man on the ground level threat, other than Saji getting arrested once for speaking out. right?
Mhm.
All of that stuff is just in the background. You have to assume. I know someone's gonna say it's in the manga. I'm saying we're not watching a manga. We're watching a show, and if it's not in the show, and I know the further argument's going to be it's in the show, you weren't paying attention or you talked over it. Well, you know what? Some points have to be given more than once to be understood or to really be drilled home. And if you had to get it in one shot, and then had to spend 10 more minutes on a Gundam fight, then I think the emphasis of the show is kind of being ruined for the fun of a Gundam fight. Which I guess always leads back to my I'd love a Gundam show without any Gundams.
Speaking of the fights, like at the very end, we at least get the show saying it's like we understand that what we were asking them to do was contradictory, and that's the point. And they kind of like put the sci-fi stuff afterwards. But I think maybe I would say across the series, the writers maybe eventually evolve a little bit in their perspective, or at least at the very end, state more directly something that I would state, which is that like being completely disarmed isn't you being peaceful, it's you being harmless. If you wanted to create a peaceful society, you probably are going to have to stop a bunch of assholes at some point.
Yeah, well, we already got that in 1999 with the Sanct Kingdom in Gundam Wing, which was a pacifist nation with a military.
Look, nothing, no idea under the sun is new, and of course Gundam is calling back to itself. Of course.
Yeah, my point isn't so
I'm just
much.
talking here and now.
My
I
point
think the
isn't
people
so
writing
much
it-
that no idea is new. I'm just saying my point is more so that Gundam itself has already done that.
Mhm. Yeah, but that's fine. I felt originally in season 1 that the writers didn't understand that they had no idea what they really wanted between we want to have peace and also we are militarily intervening in places around the world. I didn't think they know what they wanted.
All right, quick question,
And
Griff.
maybe they didn't.
Quick question, Griff. Are you saying that you liked season 2 more than season 1?
No, that's not what I'm saying right here, right now. What I'm saying right now is that, like, I think maybe after the end of season 2, the writers finally came to their own internal decision. As for, like, which season do I like, actually, though? Let me actually answer your question then. Uh, hard to say. I wish I kind of had a mix of the two, because I think the thing I enjoyed the most out of the series was season 1, getting to see everyone's politics, getting to see the entire rest of the world move and do things. And I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought that was a good, unique perspective that I don't get in a lot of shows. So, yeah, I guess that's where I would go ahead and place my bet on.
I'm sorry.
What do you think?
Yeah, I already heard you say it was a mix. Are you saying season 1 or did you not say season 1?
I wrapped around to the thing I like the most is in season 1, so the answer is probably got to be season 1 here.
Yeah, I agree with that. We had a lot more man on the ground stuff. Even Setsuna just walking around on the streets. He meets Maria on the streets. He goes to his own home country. You meet Graham and Setsuna together on the ground. A lot of ground shit happens where I feel like it's like we need to understand the situation, so let's go there and let's look around. Here's the president talking about why we're doing this here or why we're sending things here. Here's the United Nations, clearly the evil group that we think that they are trying to interfere with the Middle Eastern countries' power to control itself. We're very much in the politics. We made fun of it a lot, but at the same time, we understood what was going on and we understood why it was going on. There wasn't. If the Illuminati existed, we thought it was the United Nations. We didn't think it was a mysterious one guy who was doing everything. It made a lot more sense.
Even though we had the perspective of one guy being evil with ribbons, like, just laughing in the background or whatever. But if I were to, like, compare the two, I would say season 2 is more focused. Like, it very specifically wanted to get to its actual point in some way, and that's why they dragged Saji on board of the Celestial Being ship, so that we could actually have that evolve and like literally have people start telling Sanji what this is about.
I feel like
Sanji is a very important character. Without him, the show does not actually work, I think.
well, no, yeah, that's why I said it would have been better if they had combined Setsuna and Sachi into one character. That way, your protagonist is also the emotional carry of your show and your point of vision. No, I feel like season 1 was all about understanding the setting, which makes it better as a season. Like we gave a lot of funny shit about it, like the soccer hooligans with a nuclear bomb. What does your celestial being show up for? How big does it have to get? But I feel like season 2 was just a power fantasy. There wasn't the political message gets muddled in. How big of a fight can Setsuna win? Right?
The tone is pretty different, and we get like a lot more of the weird sci-fi stuff, which I love myself some weird sci-fi stuff. I was happy with a lot of that.
I feel
it's
like
just fun, but
I
yeah.
feel like it turns into that meme that people did on Witch from Mercury, and they do for a number of shows now that I've seen. Like it's a meme that I didn't notice before, but now I see everywhere of the immaculately drawn back half of the horse and the children's drawing of the front half of the horse, and it's season 1, season 2, right? People think season 2 of Witch from Mercury got so rushed. It's the child drawing of the horse. In this case, I'm not saying it got rushed or anything, but it's the season 1 is all about the particulars. Like this is where Setsuna lives next to Saji, right? Or Saji's sister, or whatever. Here's what the politicians are, and this is what they're doing. We were given little quotes of, "Hey, this is where we are in the world, and who owns that place of the world." We were in the weeds on details. Season 2 is, "Hey, we're in space, and now we're getting into super weapon fights." And hey, how many people can Setsuna cure from cancer before people suck his dick thinking he's Jesus? Right? Literally,
I think,
people
we
on their
point...
hands and knees saying, "Setsuna did this."
Gosh.
You know?
I think we already like identified like what happened here though, right?
Yeah, they
Season
got
1
paid a
was
lot of
supposed to
money.
be where the end was going to be, and then they had to pick it back up again. And so that's, I think, ultimately what it comes down to. We have 2 different shows here, kind of.
That's
we
why-
just have similar characters between shows.
That's why people who were obstinately dead in space at the end of season 1 suddenly are alive again. How did Graham survive an exploding mobile suit that he was in space? I don't know, but here he is again.
That's actually like something like I want to talk about for half a second, right? So we had our audience member, our good friend, talk about like, hey, remember the flower motif? The flower is really important. Here at the last episode, we have the flower in the jar in Setsuna's cockpit, directly going. Setsuna is the flower, and then we see Setsuna dead, neck like twisted 90 degrees in his cockpit, blood coming out of it, and the flower floating off into space, right?
Towards Earth, actually. Towards the globe of Earth.
Right, going back to Earth, And then final scene, he's back. It's like, I feel like maybe we got robbed a little.
Well, I feel
like they landed it perfectly, and then they undid it.
They never transition between the deaths and they're still alive scenes. Like, similar scene, Witch from Mercury, Suletta's floating through space. We get the mirrored visor, so we don't know if she's alive or dead. She's not moving. And then, because it's space, we can't hear either of them talk to one another. So here's Mjorn just fretting that her love interest is dead. And then...
Yeah, like, we could probably solve this with, like, 15 seconds of animation, 2 different shots. Shot 1, a bunch of people from the antagonist side going to Setsuna's mech, fishing him out and putting him on a stretcher. Shot 2, all of them on their ship, heading towards the Ptolemos 2, and bringing Setsuna there. Maybe with a comment in audio, it's just like, we gotta get him there fast, or else. And that would also solidify the everyone understands each other theme.
Too often, though, we just skip to the next scene where they're alive and fine.
Mm-hmm. So it feels like a little bit of a waste, but you know what? They got a movie. He's there. He's
Well,
there.
apparently in Gundam, it doesn't take that much to get a movie. Good sales, I guess, is all it takes to get a movie. I don't know, I feel like, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say, and I'm sure the audience knows what I'm trying to say without me saying it. So, don't need to give them more ammunition.
It's all good. So I think I've definitely gone through as many thoughts as I can right here. Now, Theta, you got anything else you want to wrap up with?
What do you think the end visual of? That just occurred to me. I'm not gonna go with that thought. I'm gonna finish on a different thought. Witch from Mercury, Gundam 00, both have ending, or actually, Witch from Mercury has the opening visual, and Gundam 00 has the ending visual of their Gundam basically inert and covered in flowers. Witch from Mercury had it in the season 1 opening, where I originally came up with the theory that Aerie was Ariel, because they have the ghost sitting on it, but it's Ariel on Earth, just covered in vines and flowers and shit. And Gundam 00 has the Gundam on the moon, I guess it's supposed to be, covered in flowers, also inert.
Yeah.
What's the visual metaphor there?
I think it's just a really simple one here. I think it's like the machine covered in flowers is like, we've put away our sword, we're done fighting.
Oh, that was literally.
But then again, that's not what they say at the end of the series. We're like, we gotta be back to fight whenever we need to.
Yeah. I was just thinking when I asked you the question, it occurred to me in my head. It's the motif of the gun with a flower in the barrel. That hippie thing that they like to pull out during Watchmen as well. In fact, before they shoot the crowd. But yeah, as you just said, in the end of this, they say we're still fighting. It's the Starship Troopers ending. Well, they keep fighting and they'll win. Versus Witch from Mercury's. That's it. We're done now.
Yeah, Witch from Mercury has completely wrapped up itself. It is officially done. But these guys get a movie.
Well, I mean more so. Well, I'm hoping there's gonna be a Witch from Mercury movie at some point. I think it's more so that the one Gundam at the end destroyed all the other Gundams as well. So it's like there is nothing left. That visual of the opening didn't make much sense other than a visual metaphor because Ariel no longer exists. We dissipated it into space. Whereas the ending visual of the half-destroyed Gundam on the moon covered in flowers also doesn't exist because we're still using it to fight other fights.
I don't think they actually showed us any of the Gundams post-scene, right? They just showed them on the Ptolemos 2, which did survive. They just, like, broke their engines at the end.
The Ptolemos 2, where where Setsuna is, also Sumeragi was, saying that they're going to continue the fight. The Ptolemos 2, the carrier for the Gundams. So, assumedly they're still flying around in that thing, which means it's still carrying Gundams.
They can still make more. They got the technology. It's fine.
Well, once again, Ian, one of the lead engineers, designing this generation of Gundams, so assumedly could make more, teach his kid to make more. I didn't finish Double OP, so I don't know if Chawl is still around, but if she is, she helped Ian design the generation of Gundams.
Alright, so I think that's about it then for right now. We'll be back with the movie, but right now...
Actually, first is the bunch of filler stuff. Sorry, I closed that notepad. I don't know what it's called, but it's like 4 episodes of 4 episodes. One's a 10th anniversary thing, but the other 3 are specific episodes dedicated to at least 3 specific Gundams, I think.
Okay.
And then the movie after that.
Right, so catch us for all that up ahead, and for right now, this has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?